Hey everyone, and welcome back. So let's jump right into this explainer because we've got a massive geographical mystery to peel apart today. We are looking at Latin America, a region that is just bursting with some of the most fertile land on the planet, massive mineral reserves, and honestly, enough natural wealth to easily be a global superpower. Yet despite having a massive head start on independence compared to a lot of places in Africa and Asia, the region is still struggling. Today, we are going to unpack exactly why that is, using the data and the history right in front of us. When you ask people that question, why is Latin America still struggling? Most people just look right at the surface. You'll usually hear a quick answer like, oh, it's corruption, or it's bad leaders. And sure, those are definitely symptoms, but they don't tell the whole story. Not even close. Today, we're going way past that surface level to understand the deeply embedded systemic gears of history. Basically, we need to look at the roots of the tree, not just the branches. This really brilliantly illustrates the region's massive paradox. You have a region that literally has everything a nation could dream of to build a thriving economy, including that early head start on independence we mentioned. And yet, the reality is a vicious cycle of systemic instability lasting centuries. How on earth do those two You aren't exactly going to spend money building universities or teaching high-tech engineering, right? That extractive mindset has plagued the region for centuries.
Moving on to Section 2, Infrastructure Built for Export.
So, let's look at the physical layout, because this colonial blueprint actually paved the way for modern economic struggles. These early decisions were literally hammered into the geography of the continent. If you look at the infrastructure developed back then, the roads, the railways, you'll notice a crazy pattern. Just like the extractive infrastructure we've seen in parts of Africa, Latin America's transport networks were never built to connect neighboring towns or foster regional trade, not at all. They were designed as one-way streets, built specifically to funnel raw materials straight from the inland mines and plantations directly to the coastal transport hubs, destined for overseas overlords in Europe and later the US. They completely bypassed their regional neighbors. And that leads us to a pretty mind-blowing reality about modern logistics. Because of those colonial-era decisions, even today, it is often significantly easier and cheaper for a Latin American country to trade with the United States or Europe than it is to trade with the country directly next door. This deeply entrenched physical disconnect means that local businesses really struggle to scale up. Their regional supply chains are just incredibly inefficient, making it nearly impossible to grow large enough to compete with established global giants.
All right, Section 3, the Import Substitution Failure.
Eventually, these countries kicked out the European overlords, but local elites simply replaced them and kept those exact same extractive systems running. By the mid-20th century, though, there was a desperate attempt to fix this broken economy. A lot of leaders tried this strategy called import substitution industrialization. It was this command-style logic with three main steps. Step 1, tax foreign goods heavily to make them incredibly expensive. Step 2, this mathematically forces your citizens to buy locally made products instead. Step 3, According to the theory, this allows local industries to grow safely and you achieve ultimate national self-sufficiency. Sounds fantastic in a boardroom, doesn't it? But wait, here is the massive structural flaw, the question that brought this whole plan crashing down. Where is the incentive to innovate? Seriously, if you are a local business owner, why would you ever spend your hard-earned money researching and developing a better product when the law guarantees that people have to buy your expensive, lower-quality product anyway? You have a totally captive market. By aggressively protecting local businesses from outside competition, governments accidentally removed the very pressure that drives innovation. And man, did it backfire spectacularly. These protected industries became incredibly inefficient. They completely failed to compete on a global scale. As they began to fail, governments had to borrow more and more money endlessly just to prop them up, accidentally causing massive, crippling national debt. Which brings us to Section 4, the Cold War chessboard. Just as these nations were drowning under that massive debt, the Cold War rolls in, turning the entire region into a tragic geopolitical chessboard. Looking impartially at this era, we can clearly see the devastating economic impact. Instead of directing resources toward economic growth, modernization, and high-tech manufacturing, which is exactly where a developing nation's funds should go, the reality was completely different. Funding was violently diverted into ideological proxy battles, military training, and suppressing internal enemies, fundamentally putting governments at war with their own citizens. Beyond the terrible, immediate human toll, this ideological violence created a pervasive culture of fear and deep instability. Think about it. If you're a global company looking to build a multi-million-dollar high-tech manufacturing plant, you definitely aren't going to build it in a war zone. This instability scared away the exact foreign investment required to break the region out of its commodity trap and actually modernize the economy. Finally, Section 5, breaking the extractive cycle. Fast forward to today. The region is definitely making progress and fighting to root out corruption, but they are battling centuries of an infrastructure literally built for extraction. What you should really take away from this explainer is that true, lasting progress requires a massive structural pivot. It's about leveraging what economists call comparative advantage. It requires completely throwing out the 16th century blueprint of just digging up rocks and pumping oil to sell overseas. The future relies entirely on a nation's willingness to finally invest in its human capital, the talents, the education, and the true innovation of its own people. We've seen how history, geography, and geopolitics all combine to build this systemic trap. It's a fascinating, complex web, which really leaves us with one final, vital question to ponder. Can these nations finally break the curse of their own incredible wealth? Can they shift their focus from extracting natural resources to empowering human minds and finally unlock their true global potential? It's a monumental challenge, but the blueprint for change is clearer than ever. Thank you so much for